Hi, it's Susan Proper. I am live today, and I will be joined in just a moment with a fellow yogi from Australia, Becky Pell. She should be joining me any moment. And this program is called Susan Gets Social. And the intention of this program is to have fellow yogis and coaches join me live from around the world and around the globe to talk about what they're doing and share what they're doing. Here she is. So that we can, let's see. Hey, Becky. There she is. So that we can share what we're doing. And hey,
Hey Susan, how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. This is exciting. This is the first time I've done this split screen live thing and it works. Hooray!
Yeah, it should be great. So I was just sort of sharing what it is that we are intending to do today. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm just turning you up a wee bit there.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I actually broke my own rule. I don't have my earbuds and I couldn't find them. um, Anyhow, I was just sharing with anybody who's with us right now, and there's a few people, um, what it is that the intention for our meeting today is. And really, it's just to share our stories and share what we're doing because I think women don't talk and share enough about what it is that we know and can bring to other women. And, women have so much wisdom and love and spirit. And we don't often feel comfortable sometimes to share that. And
Right.
so I think doing something like this gives us the opportunity to talk about what it is that we do and we love to do. And that's why we're here.
Perfect. Yeah, I totally agree.
So I have been a follower of yours for, I think, a long time. I think since I ever joined Instagram. Um, so anyway, what I would like to do is ask you a little bit about um, yourself and the name of your business, because I think that's why I was first attracted to following you, because I was like, this is really interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, well, the name came about because of the two sides of my life, really. So I'm a yoga teacher and yoga therapist now, but my original career and the career which I still work in is in the music business. So for 25 years, I've been a live sound engineer. So I tour the world with bands mixing their sound for live concerts on large scales, arenas, stadiums, big bands. Um, and along the way, not until I was in my 30s, but along the way, I discovered self-development and then yoga.
Mhm.
And it really was the missing piece in the puzzle for me. I created a life that felt very authentic to me and that had been my dream since I was 12 years old to be on the road with bands like this. But I still wasn't very accepting of myself, and there was a lot of my own stuff that I needed to overcome. And the internal talk, and well, I love what you call the itty bitty shitty committee. I
Yeah.
just love that. And yoga and excuse me, and self-development really helped me to kind of put that final piece of the puzzle into place. And I just fell in love with it. And very much like you, it was love at first down dog. The moment I set foot on that mat, I was like, oh my God, I found my thing. But I'd already found my thing in music, but I was like, I found my other thing.
Yeah.
And and I need this to be part of my life. And I was immediately obsessed, and was practicing every day for years. And then gradually the path led me into teaching. Somebody I was on the road with asked me if I would teach them, and I hadn't trained, but I said, I can show you a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'm not a teacher. But that inspired me to do my teacher training.
Uh,
And then more people found out I'd done that, and I ended up teaching a lot of people when I was on the road after sound check, and they just loved it. And it was so great to be able to marry these two passions of mine together.
mhm.
And so, it went on from there, and I ended up studying, doing a 3-year study over 3 years in yoga therapy. So now I can see people one-on-one and work with
Right.
them on one-on-one. And I trained as a coach, holistic life coach as well. So now I've got all these modalities that are just really all of my dreams and things that I'm passionate about coming together as one. So hence rock and roll yogi.
Wow, that's fabulous. I recently became certified as a holistic life coach as well. I sort of, in my transition, I went from yoga teacher to holistic life coach. And somewhere in there, I also love doing retreats. And I know you do retreats also. Um, I
That's right,
think,
yeah.
I think you also, didn't you have a retreat facility or a place in Costa Rica at one time?
Oh, we had that was an example of trying things and it being okay for things not to work out.
Okay.
So I do run retreats with a very dear friend of mine who's also a yoga teacher, and we run retreats that we call Find Your Balance retreats, which is a real blend of the more energizing and deeply restorative sides of yoga, and we
Mhm.
run them together in beautiful places around the world. I'm based in Australia now, and she's in London.
Okay.
I moved to Australia about 3.5 years ago, and it was just a way of us to continue working together. I had been teaching at her studio, and we said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we start these retreats around the world? And so we've done 4 together so far in various places, and
Oh,
we were about to do another one in the Greek islands when the world went upside down.
right.
But yeah, I thought for a while that my ultimate dream really would be to have my own retreat center. So we bought a beautiful acreage property in Queensland in Australia,
Mhm.
which is where I still am, but it was about 40 minutes from where I am now. And it was rainforest. It was stunning. And then we started to dip a toe in the water of what it would mean to, I mean, I really kind of got this the wrong way around. I should have done my research first. But what it would mean to actually run a retreat. And it gradually dawned on me that it was going to be about this much business, and I'm not a businesswoman, and about this much yoga. And what I really wanted, what really inspires me about retreats is the yoga, is sharing that journey with people. And it became apparent that really what would be the best thing would be to go to places with a retreat group that they could take care of doing a fabulous job of the infrastructure
Right.
and the accommodation and the food and all that sort of stuff, and so that I could concentrate on the yoga, because it was too much to do both. And like I say, I'm not a businesswoman, and it just wasn't where my heart was.
Mhm.
Was the actual running of the retreat venue.
Mhm.
So we ended up selling that place and moving on. But I actually have no regrets, because if I hadn't done it, I would still think that was my dream.
Right.
So it was a mistake that kind of had to be made.
Yeah. And, we learn so much from our mistakes. When I first got out of my teacher training, I did a retreat. I don't think I had my yoga teacher training certificate for 1 month, and I did my first retreat. in
Wow.
Cortona, Italy. And I loved
How
it.
was
I
that?
enjoyed it so much. It was fabulous. But I made so many mistakes. I realize now looking back on it, but I would do it again if, of course, the situation in the world were a little bit different. But you are right. Being a yoga retreat facilitator is a lot of work, and as a facilitator, you don't really get what you think you're going to get out of it.
Mm,
Spiritually, you miss that whole retreat aspect of it. You really do. And so I think you hit the nail on the head when you find a place that actually takes care of all that business part of it. It's so much better. It really is so
yeah.
much better. Yeah, yeah. What do you have, like, any tidbit of wisdom that maybe you would give a brand new yoga teacher or a brand new coach? I am new to coaching. I've only been coaching for about 6 months now. Do you have any tidbit of wisdom that you might be able to give a new yoga teacher or a new coach, since you've been doing this for a longer period of time?
I would say teach what you know. Teach.
Mhm.
It sounds very obvious, but it's easy to kind of see a shiny new idea and think, oh, that sounds great, and try and incorporate it when you haven't actually used it and found it to be true in your own life.
Mhm.
So, so this would apply for teaching and coaching. Use the tools that you really know have worked for you,
Mhm.
and that you have direct experience of, because then you're really sharing from the heart, and you will have that much more insight, and you also know the pitfalls and the little nuances of the things that may not work around that, and how to navigate those.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so teach what you know to be true for you.
Right. And I guess I've learned that in my own life, having gone through, um, you know, corporate burnout and depression, and then finding yoga and meditation and climbing my way out of that. That is what I know, and that sort of is what I'm using as a background to help other women who may have experienced similar things, maybe not the same things, but similar things to what I have gone through myself. So yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's very good advice.
I think that's
So
fabulous, because I think you can only really, it's like taking somebody on a trek. You can only guide the way as far as you've been
right.
yourself. And so that journey that you've taken, yes, it may not be the exact same journey that somebody else has, but if you've got fantastic knowledge of what it is to live your life in a very successful career, but that nonetheless doesn't necessarily feel authentic to you, and
Mhm.
have the passion and the self-belief to make that transition, and you know what that struggle looks like. So it's
Mhm.
fabulous that you share that.
Yeah, thank you. So you have a YouTube channel,
I do, yes.
and what is that channel?
It's Rock and Roll Yogi.
It is Rock and Roll Yogi.
It
Okay.
is Rock and Roll Yogi, yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably not as prolific on there as I should be. I tend to, and Instagram seems to be my main medium, but yeah, I really need to get a little bit more active on YouTube, because it seems to be
Yeah,
where
I
the
can say
action
the
is these
same
days.
thing. Yeah, yeah. So what are you doing now with, you're not traveling now, obviously, because of,
Mm.
COVID and the whole thing with not being able to do your sound engineering with that business, that aspect of your life. So, what are you doing with your yogi business right now? What have you got going
But
on?
being very thankful for the internet, because it's allowed me to do a big pivot with Zoom, and seeing clients. I was already seeing coaching clients on Zoom, and that worked great, but I had shied away from seeing yoga therapy clients on Zoom, just because of the slightly more physical. Yoga therapy is not a yoga class, and it's not massively physical, but you know, I need to be able to see how somebody's breathing and how somebody moves, particularly if there's a physical component to what they're hoping to work with. And I shied away from that. And I think generally in the yoga therapy community, there was a sense that this wasn't something you could do online. You needed to be in person. And actually that's because it wasn't possible to do that. We found out how to do it online. So that's been really interesting to figure that out. So I'm seeing therapy and coaching clients on Zoom. The yoga retreats, my colleague and I, Sarah, are running a monthly online at-home retreat.
Oh,
So it's 3 hours, just a little over 3 hours, first Saturday of every month. So
fantastic.
that goes up on my Instagram, generally a week or two before. And yeah, we share the teaching. We run it very much as we run our in-person retreats. Sarah will teach half of it and I will teach half of it, and we support each other throughout that. And it'll be partially a more flowing practice, and then partially my side of it, which is more restorative and yoga nidra. And we have a particular theme that we center that around. So we do that the first Saturday of every month.
Oh my gosh, I need to check that out. I love yoga nidra, and I love going to virtual retreats. I do virtual retreats myself. On a little bit of a summer hiatus right now, but not for 3 hours. So I would love to check that out.
Oh, come along. You definitely should. We'd love to have you there.
Yeah, I am going
That'd
to
be
look
great.
into that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then my other biggie really for this whole period of time, I've been writing a book about yoga for the last couple of years. And it's given me the opportunity to finish that. It's called Yoga Journey, A Contemporary Guide to a Timeless Tradition. And it's all about getting under the skin of what yoga is really about. It's kind of the information that you would get on a good teacher training, maybe also on an advanced teacher training and a little bit beyond, and making all of that timeless wisdom really accessible and practical for our modern lives. So this time has given me the opportunity to finish that, and I'm just in the final stages of editing, and it'll be in print. We're looking at probably end of October, beginning of November.
Wow, fantastic.
So
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you. Yeah, really excited about
amazing.
that.
Wow. So now will this be a book that's available like on Amazon, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, it'll be on Amazon. It'll be available in ebook and also hard copy. And yeah, so I'll be sharing links to all of that when
Oh, so
that's ready
people
to
need
go.
to keep a lookout on Instagram for you to announce when that's available?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Um, so there was something else that flew through my head and I wanted to ask you about it. Shoot, I can't remember. Well, do you have any questions for me?
I would love to know what you have learned in this journey since you made the transition. What have been the biggest lessons for you?
Oh, biggest lesson for me. I think, well, there's been a lot of lessons for me, but probably, I think one of the biggest lessons for me has been to trust myself more and not be afraid.
Mm.
I spent a lot of my younger years in fear and doubt and in self-doubt, and it took a lot of meditation and just a lot of spiritual growth for me to get beyond that. And I had to let go of fear. And once I let go of that fear in my life, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what other people's opinions were. Um, then I was able to step out and just trust myself.
That's huge. Fear of success, that's an interesting one. That's one we don't hear a lot about. We hear about
Yeah.
fear of failure and fear of people's opinions. Tell me
Mhm.
more about fear of success.
Well, fear of success actually turned me into a huge procrastinator, because it made me uh, it made me afraid of things becoming out of my control. And I tend to be like a control freak at times. You know, that's that type A personality.
Yep.
And so when I could feel something going well and start to really like take off, or even an inkling of, oh, hey, this is going to work. And oh, I got this. I would put the brakes on because I was afraid that that I couldn't control the results, that
Mm,
that it was just going to be too much, or too yeah, too much for me to handle. And then I couldn't control it. And so I would just procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate. And sometimes opportunities slipped away and slipped by. And I would, I mean, I'd say, shit, that I should have done that, or why didn't I, or how come, or whatever. And you know, I have a business coach, and my business coach would say to me, you know, Susan, what the heck is going on with you? And you know, I'd be in tears, and I would realize that it was fear of success. It was not fear of failure, because I knew I could do these things, but it was just absolutely fear of success.
wow.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of terrifying actually when you start to put the wheels in motion of how quickly things gather momentum, isn't it? It can feel quite
Yes. Yeah.
alarming.
It can be scary, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be. And so I have to sometimes really kick myself in the butt to move beyond that. Yeah.
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 Well, it
Even
sounds like
now
you
I
have.
catch
You've made a
myself.
fabulous.
I'm sorry.
I said it sounds like you have. It sounds like you've got a fabulous business going now of
Well, thank
doing
you. I
what you
mean,
do to help women.
well, I really love it. I'm passionate about it. And um, I know that women out there, just like you know, women out there struggle every day with different things, whether it's, you know, a forgotten dream, or a shitty job, or
Mm,
a bad relationship, or whatever the heck it is. Women are out there struggling every day with things that they feel like they're stuck with. They're stuck in some place that maybe they don't want to be, and they don't know how to change it, or they're afraid,
yeah.
whatever it is. And sometimes they just need somebody to talk to, or to help them see a different perspective. And that's what I want to be there for. And that's what I am so passionate about. And I use that passion holistically. I use yoga. I use yoga nidra. I use meditation. I use essential oils. And you know, sometimes I will have women that are interested in even using oracle cards. I use it all. Whatever a person feels like they need, that's what I will help them with. So yeah,
Yeah, whatever works, right? Whatever
that's right.
means
Mhm.
work for that person.
Yeah. And I'm a great believer in crystals too. I don't know if you are into crystals at all, but God, I mean, I have crystals everywhere around my house. I even put them in my bra. I just, I'm a huge believer in
Really?
crystals.
I need to ask you a little bit more about that. Maybe we'll have a chat offline about that. I don't know a whole lot about crystals, and actually I wanted to ask you about the oils as well, because I'm interested to know how you use those to facilitate
Oh
growth.
yeah, because you can use oils based on your chakras. You can use
Mm.
oils for
Right.
your emotions. Oh my God, yeah, you can make a special blend just based on your individual emotional needs, your stressors. I mean, it's remarkable what you can do with oils, and the same with crystals. Really, the same
Right.
with crystals. Yeah, yeah.
Because of the vibrational
Yes,
qualities with the
the
chakras, is
energies,
that it?
yeah, the energies that they put out. Yeah, I keep oil, excuse me, I keep crystals, certain crystals in my wallet. I
Hmm.
keep crystals under my pillow when I go to sleep at night. Oh my God, I'm just, yeah, I'm into it.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, have you done any posts about that? I'd love to read what's good for what.
I do have some books to suggest for you. And there is, well, there's a book called the Crystal Bible, and that book is really informational if you just are learning about crystals. Like, I can't. Let me just grab it. I know it's going to be backwards, but it's called the Crystal Bible by
Oh,
Julie
yeah. Okay.
Hall. Yeah, and this one is just like a kind of like encyclopedic.
Okay. Yeah.
It tells you all about crystals and what their energies are, what they look like, and what they're good for. It's a very good beginner
Mm.
book about crystals. But then you can get into crystal grids. You can get into, there's a lot you can get into crystals. So I would love to talk with you about crystals. I'm very happy to talk about crystals anytime.
Yeah, it's a whole world I haven't explored. That's really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So, when you practice yoga nidra, and I know we're kind of running out of time here. I don't want to keep you. Um, when you practice yoga nidra, are you certified in yoga nidra, or is that just something you picked up along the way? You are.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Me too. Where did you get your training?
It was part of the yoga therapy study that
Oh,
I
it
did. We had
was.
a
Oh,
yeah,
that's
fabulous
excellent.
teacher called Uma Dinsmore-Tooley, who's just an absolute goddess of yoga nidra, and she was our teacher. So her classes were an absolute joy, I have to say.
And where? And you did that in Australia, or you did that
No,
where?
that was in London.
In London?
I trained as a yoga therapist in London, yeah.
Okay. There's a great yoga nidra network. And I think it's based out of London also. Is
That's
that,
her, yoganidranetwork.org.
yes. Is
That's
that,
her. That's
that's
Uma.
the one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
follow them on Facebook. They have great
Yeah.
programs. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got on that website, they've got a lot of free available nidras that you can listen
Yes.
to, and just fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to share or let anybody know about before we sign off?
Um, just that if you're interested in any of what I have to offer, then my website is rockandrollyogi.com. And I'm very grateful to you, Susan, for inviting me on here. I really appreciate it, and it's been really
Well,
great
I'm
chatting with
so
you.
glad. I'm so glad to have had you, and I'm so glad to have spoken with you and met you in person. It's wonderful. I've been following you for a long time, and
Likewise.
I love your Instagram. It's always so informational, and it's really a great um, a great great posts and great. Yeah, I love your IGTV. It's always great. Always great. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I
All
really love
right.
what you're sharing too. So this has been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching Susan Get Social, and we will see you another time. And I hope you enjoyed everything. Bye-bye.